We all heard about Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, and its massive fortifications. The city's walls were first built in the 4th century, but Emperor Theodosius II drastically improved them a century later. The famous Theodosian Walls he constructed would develop into a magnificent multi-layered defensive system. A besieging army would first have to get across a moat 20 meters wide, climb over the moat wall, and then the 9-meter tall outer wall, before escalating the much thicker and taller inner wall. Between these walls were at least 96 towers. With defenses like these, Constantinople was almost impregnable. However, the city did fall several times. The walls would face countless attacks by invaders and natural elements like earthquake over the next millennium. In 1453, the Ottoman Empire breached the walls and conquered the city, bringing the Byzantine Empire to an end. Today, the walls still stand as a testament to the power and glory of the Second Rome. On the other side of the globe, there's an equally magnificent series of fortifications that few in the West are aware of. This is Xi'an, one of the 4 great ancient capitals of China. It was the capital of several Chinese dynasties, including the Han and Tang dynasties. It was the starting point of the Silk Road, which connected the East with the West, and is the location of the Terracotta Army. This is roughly the entire city today. The location of the ancient city is in the center, inside the green rectangle. This is what it looks like zoomed in. The green rectangle is actually the ancient city's moat. And just behind the moat are the walls. The walls were first built in 194 BCE and completely rebuilt during the Ming Dynasty in 1370. Before looking at the walls in detail, let's span the entire length of the wall starting at the northwestern tower. The walls are thick and as wide as some apartment complexes. The tiny white rectangles on the walls are small cars. The protruding squares attached to the walls are towers, usually with a 100 meters interval. Now let's look at the walls. The walls are 12 meters in height and 15 to 18 meters thick at the base. With a circumference of 13.7 kilometers, the walls and towers enclose 14 square kilometers of the city. The walls built in 194 BCE covered a much larger territory, about 36 square kilometers of the city, and were 12 to 16 meters thick. The first walls have withered over the passage of 2 millennia, and we no longer see them today. What's left standing is the Ming Dynasty wall. Like the Great Wall and other city walls in ancient China, the walls of Xi'an were built with rammed earth and stone bricks in a method similar to the Theodosian Walls. But what sets the walls of Xi'an apart is its sheer thickness and size. The moat is much wider than the walls, and without bridges, it would have been difficult to cross. The towers, which are really just protruded walls, allowed the defenders to rain the besiegers with a crossfire of bolts, rocks, and firearms. Assuming the attackers do manage to scale the 12-meter-high wall and attempted to open the gates, they might have to fight through the entire defending army in a bloody melee, as the walls are all connected. Breached gates are nightmares for the defenders. However, gates in Chinese wall design are traps for the besiegers. The first gate leads into an enclosed area for crossfire. The second gate is what actually leads into the city. The guardhouses on the walls served as multi-story archer platforms. It is also where the drums of war were beaten. Speaking of war, Xi'an was taken multiple times. In 23 Common Era, the city was sacked by a peasant rebellion. A Tang Dynasty general of Sogdian and Turkic descent rebelled against the dynasty in 755. This civil war is perhaps the most devastating in history. Xi'an was sacked repeatedly. Rebels captured the city in 756 before being thrown out by loyalists in 757. The dynasty never recovered from the rebellion, and the Tibetan Empire managed to occupy the city for a few days in 763. 2 years later, an alliance of the Tibetan Empire and Uyghur Khaganate returned to lay siege. In the last decade of the dynasty, the city was again sacked in a peasant rebellion. The last time Xi'an saw action was during the warlord era, when China was divided into military cliques. The walls of Xi'an stood firm against modern artillery. Today, Xi'an is a bustling metropolis with 6 million inhabitants. The walls are ideal for cycling and running marathons, and stand as a testament to the power and glory of the dynasties that built them. Help me grow by liking and subscribing. Thank you.